We are here, Pablo. This is number 21.
Yep. Moving on through it. Thanks again for everybody joining us.
Yep, all listeners. Yep, fantastic. And as you always say, go ahead and like, comment, follow, subscribe, all those kind of things.
Absolutely. Whatever you're listening to us on, like, follow, comment, subscribe.
And I want to add one more thing now, Pablo.
Oh, yeah.
We now take questions. So anything to do with any kind of fantasy football or even the EFFL, comments, any of those forums, and we'll answer your questions for you.
Right. Well, don't get too far ahead of yourself. We'll be shooting some stuff out on social media, asking any questions, and then you guys can input your questions.
Okay.
In the meantime, feel free to contact us anyways in EFFL so that you can let us know what you guys are thinking too, because we're always down to taking any sorts of notes on this at this point in time.
There you go. Well, as you see on the screen, his name is Paul. My name is Todd. We are ExtremeFFL.com representing, and check us out at ExtremeFFL.com. Our sponsors are 123go.io and Tabby Entertainment. On today's show, Pablo, hey, we are live. The website is live and functional, so you can go ahead and register. We have a few more members of the Madden 99 Club. We'll get into a little bit of the NFL training camp news, and then we'll throw in a few more EFFL two-timers for you. That's all coming up today, so hang tight. All right. So, like I said, Paul, we are live. Mm-hmm. You can go to ExtremeFFL.com and register and sign up. Create leagues, join leagues.
Oh yeah,
all kinds of cool stuff.
Here you can. We've already got some interesting names, or more so fun names here going on there for names of private leagues and teams out there. And it's officially starting up. And absolutely, make sure you get in there. If you have registered already to try to get that podcast code or to get your discount from whatever sort of promo code that you might have, then make sure that you also go in now and set up a team and actually log in and create an account if you haven't done that as well. So, all of those things are really important. And it is time. It is live. Oh, it's exciting.
It is pretty exciting. And like I said before, if anybody wants to, I'm not going to say challenge me because I'm not that good. Just play me in a private league. Go ahead through any of our sources. You can text me, call me, smoke signals, whatever you want to do. Just get a hold of me, and I'll be happy to create a private league for you. Or if you want to join mine, I have a private league called Big Ballers. So come on over. Let me know. So sound
Absolutely.
Good, Paul?
I feel like the smoke signals might be a little bit of a stretch. You might be a little...
Hey, if anybody can do smoke signals and get a hold of me, then they deserve a chance to join my private league.
100%. You don't even know how to understand the language. If they figure it out.
I don't, but
they deserve it. They deserve it.
It's a thing, right? So, okay, let's move on to the more important things here.
Of course, let's get to it.
Some of the important things. We talked a little bit last week. NFL or Madden leaked the 99 Club members, and we talked about a few of them there.
Yep.
The Club 99 members, and now they're officially all released, and there are 5 members of the 99 Club, and 2 of them are 49ers in Christian McCaffrey and Trent Williams. So Trent Williams is the left tackle. So I'm thinking that on the defensive side, I'm going to lean to my right because we got the 99 blocker for this 99 McCaffrey running back coming at me.
Oh, yeah, that feels good
so
for sure.
On the defender's right-hand side is going to be up against Trent Williams, and he is one of the best out there. Mm-hmm. We also have 2 Chiefs, probably could guess, Mahomes and Kelsey.
Right.
You know what? Neither one had wonderful stats last year, so I'm not going to say that they've earned the 99 because of the stats. They've earned the 99 because they are Super Bowl champions and just a great combo.
Right.
There may be a little bit of bias going on there between the NFL and the beloved Chiefs, but I'm not sure Travis Kelce is even the best tight end out there, let alone being ranked as a 99. Mm-hmm. But he is.
Yeah, it's interesting there. I'm questioning if it's like if the stack matters, for their 99 Club, because it seems like they've got they kind of build like a core, and they're like, oh, these people are going to be 99, and you could see how that would play out in the season.
Yeah.
And but there is the outlier here. Who's the outlier?
Tyreek Hill.
which honestly is not as big a surprise.
Right. Tyreek Hill, we'll get into a little bit more down the road a little bit here, but he actually is the number 1 rated player in the NFL. So not just a Madden thing, but actually overall number 1 rated player of the top 100. So
Didn't he just get a bigger check from
he
the
got paid.
Dolphins?
He got paid also, yeah.
Got to get that bag, Got to get that bag. That's good.
I guess, yeah, might as well, right? Well, while you can.
Get that money here.
Yeah. You need like a dollar sign, cha-ching kind of thing going on.
Yeah, you know what? We'll have to make a list of all the different things here we want. I'll write it down,
And if you have any idea, any of you out there have any idea what kind of sound effects we need to throw in there.
Yeah, if you're like, we really need to hear this thing from the replacements, we might have you.
Pain heals.
But
Chicks dig
if
scars.
it's not this,
Man, this
Glory.
is
Last forever.
I watch that show whenever it comes across my
right on, Shane, right on. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a classic.
every time I'm scrolling through and I see it there, I have to just watch.
Look, bunt cake.
Cake. So here we are going to start. Our next episode will be quoting sports lines from movies.
Absolutely. Feel free to tell us. Take this little audio clip, put it in. We'll do it.
Well, speaking of that, I do want to mention one thing. I've been seeing it on my TikTok because it is a kind of a draft kind of thing. There's a TV show, or sorry, a movie, Draft Day, with Kevin Costner, and I've been seeing little clips about it, and I
Interesting.
haven't seen that show in a long time, so I'm gonna probably pop on home today and check out Draft Day with Kevin Costner.
Oh, it's kind of fun. Yeah.
It's like a pretty fun kind of show. So.
Well, let's get back to it here.
All right. So again, the members of the
Madden
99 Club are McCaffrey, Mahomes, Kelsey, Williams, and Tyreek Hill. So there you go. Take it for what it's worth. So
I'm a bit interested in the Patrick Mahomes, seeing as I don't think that he, I don't know if he's rated that high on ADP and stuff, and I don't know if he's rated that high when it comes to I know he's not on the EFFL or Extreme Exchange
he's not.
value.
He's $109.
And so when it comes to that, by all means, Patrick Mahomes is a cheap pickup for a 99 Club member.
It is.
That's a good way to go.
I just don't know if he's 99 worthy. And we'll do a comparison in a second between Tyreek Hill, 99, and Justin Jefferson at 98.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of interesting, those stats there. But coming up, today actually is Tuesday, right?
Mm-hmm.
On Thursday is when the full slate of the preseason games begin. Last week, we did have the Hall of Fame game with the Texans and the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
But this week is when all the teams start. Like our beloved Lions are playing Thursday, and they're playing against the New York Giants, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Right? Now, what's kind of happening in the past few years is the first couple of games in preseason, the teams have combined their workouts and practice sessions. So they're playing scrimmages, in essence. So the Lions have been playing the Giants yesterday. They played, and they've been scrimmaging together and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I heard there were 10 fights.
Wow.
10 fights, and the actual throwing punches fights.
Is that what?
Yeah, this is preseason. Preseason, you haven't even started playing the games yet, and you're already getting into fights.
Man, there's going to be some blood going at this first game, I bet.
And the big fight, if you get a chance to watch it, is when Terrion Arnold, who is the Lions' new cornerback, was up against Malik Neighbors, who is the Giants' new receiver.
Mm-hmm.
They're both rookies, but going even deeper in that, Terrion Arnold is from Alabama, and Malik Neighbors is from LSU. So they're SEC rivals.
Oh, wow.
So, there you go. So SEC
Wow.
rivals carry over to the NFL.
Is that common that fights break out? I mean, obviously 10 seems like an extremely high number regardless, but is that a thing that normally happens?
You get a little testosterone, you get these guys trying to make their name for themselves and
Right.
whatever it may be. And I could see a little bit of that going on. But the play that Malik Neighbors and Terrion Arnold got into, to me, looked like it was just some smack talk that got carried away. I didn't see anything like an illegal hit or anything that was too terrible in that aspect. But it was just, hey, it's just football, right?
Wow.
So that's why we're all here, because we all love that sport.
Well, I know that this isn't a thing for football, but if this was wrestling, that would be your classic, like stand up there in front of the cameras and get the hype started to get built up
See,
for that game because
yeah, it actually,
100%.
yep, it may be that. It may just be those the weigh-in as they do it in boxing, right? And you're
Wait,
seeing
exactly. Yes.
side by side. Yeah, it may be that. So, but hey, it's happening. So again, week 1 begins Thursday. So all 32 teams will be playing between now and I think I'm not sure there's any Monday night games. I think they're all games are Sunday through Thursdays in the preseason. So,
Yeah.
but because some of the contacts are starting and some of the pads are out there and people are starting to play around, there have been some injuries. And there were 6 people alone on Sunday who got injured enough where they are now on the injured reserve. So, my little take on that is yes, injuries happen and they suck, especially if they're your superstar player. But, Paul, what do we have that prevents that?
Yeah. Well, for us, you don't have to draft those players ahead of time.
You
can
don't.
pick them up when the time comes, and if they're not available, then don't pick them up.
Exactly. Exactly. So,
Simple as that.
if someone's hurt, don't play them. But yeah, it does happen, and I believe 2 of them are season-ending injuries. So there's some things happening, and you'll hear more this week, and you'll more next week, and it's always a little bit of a thing. Do I play my veterans? Do I play my rookies? Do I play my superstars? To maybe expose them to injury. But if I don't play them, are they going to be rusty when the first game comes on? So really a little bit of a fine tune where you want to do and all that kind of stuff.
Something I want
that.
That was interesting. I was just going to ask you. When it comes to it, I think that it depends on if you're missing the whole season, if you're missing the first little bit of the season. I think that missing three to 4 games, for example, which I forget, there's like some rookie out there that I'm forgetting the name of right now who just got like injured, maybe second-year player, who's going to miss his first like 3 or 4 games. And when that happens, it does set you back, right, for your overall intention and sort of like plan that you mapped out and your coaches mapped out for you when they got you on that team and on that spot, right? So it's going to set you back a little bit no matter what. The question is like, is it going to be too detrimental to your overall performance? And I don't think that it necessarily will if it's only a few games like that. If it's like a more thing, like if you miss your whole season, then you're training with the people a little bit. You get to see it all happen, but ultimately you're not really in the field. You're not really getting that experience that you need in the field. So I think that it would kind of make a big deal. I think that missing those games is really important in a bad way. Like it's important not to miss those games and not to miss out on too much time here in this league because it is so competitive and it is so it's such a tough competition, right? But what do you think? Because what I want to know is like, do you think that a more experienced player, or like which one do you think would be more detrimental for an experienced player or like a rookie player?
Well, a lot of it is depending on where the team currently sits. Like, so that's the Lions, for instance. So the Lions have a very, very good team, a potential Super Bowl winning team this year, legit. So are you going to expose the Jared Goffs and the Onras and the Montgomerys and the Gibbs and the Laportas and the Penei Sewells, all those people to injury?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yes, I think because I think you have to get them into the game. Now you play football, and I did a long, long time ago. The practice speed and then game speed are different. Now you didn't really have a preseason, but when you were playing with your, on the team,
right? When
you're
do
just
your
playing
scrimmages, right?
You're playing at only a certain level, right? A certain speed, and you're hitting only a certain hard.
Yeah.
But if you go to the actual game, all of a sudden you're feeling it, you're hitting it, you're running it, all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So my thought process is I want to have my veterans, my superstars get a taste of it, keep them kind of into the game. Maybe 1 or 2 drives. I wouldn't go much further than 1 or 2 drives. I probably wouldn't even go a full quarter if I didn't have to, because again, you're exposing them to injuries.
Right.
And these games really don't mean anything for those players.
Sure.
The players that it means something to, the reason why I like the preseason games is I think there's 95 people, I believe, players on the team when the preseason starts. And they get whittled down to 53 by the end of the preseason. So you're losing almost half of the people who were there.
Right.
Will eventually be gone and off the team or at least put on a practice squad kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So these rookies out there who need to play, who are going from a collegiate level and the collegiate speed up to the NFL speed is a growing curve in itself.
Right.
So I want to have them have access to that also. But then if you're needing like a Terrion Arnold or Ennis Rakestraw for the Lions here, I need them to perform well in
Right.
the real season. So again, I may not expose them to the 3 or 4 quarters, but they will get playing time. It's the backups. It's the second string quarterbacks, the Hendon hookers for the Lions. Those are the kind of guys that I want to see so that if Jared Goff does get hurt or go down for a little bit of time, can this guy or these guys or whoever it is step up and start at least not losing the game for us?
Right. Right.
So I like seeing the second and third string players play more than I do like seeing the superstar studs or the rookies.
That makes sense too. This is a time in the season where people are hungry, not the people who are used to being hungry to win, right? That like championship game and stuff. Not those experienced players who are like, all right, I know I'm going to be playing it. I just don't want to get hurt until like unless it's a really important moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so other players who are like, all right, you know what, this is my chance not to be, this is my chance to make it onto a professional team,
Yeah.
or to say like, this is my chance to make it to second string, or my chance to make it to, maybe going to be like part of practice squad. And if that's what you want to do, right? Like wherever you set your goals to, this is your chance to kind of be hungry and go for it. And so I think this is actually, you make a good point when it comes to EFFL and Extreme Exchange. These are players that if you see them hungry, then especially if you see someone make it to a second string position, watch them, because if their first string starts to fumble a little bit, not literally, but also maybe literally.
Mm-hmm.
But if they start to fumble a little bit, then they could really get put in that position. And if you saw that they had potential, then they could be real cheap pickups for great gains,
Right.
essentially a first string position. So
Yeah.
it's an important time. That it was a good point that you make up to try to watch those players to see who might actually be able to show a little bit of grit, who might not be those first big name players like Tyreek Hill that everyone knows about.
Right. And it is important because inevitably every team has injuries. You're not going to walk in with the same 22, let's just say a few not second string, but nickelback or the third receiver or whatever it may be. So let's just say you got 25 or 26 players. You're not going to have the same 25, 26 at day one as you're going to have after week 18.
Right.
It's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So the Super Bowl champion teams, the championship caliber teams, are the ones who have the depth, whether it's they drafted deeper or they drafted better or they develop the players better, whatever it is, but the depth comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you see, okay, so maybe September 5th when the first game is played, maybe the fifth string running back for the Lions may not be very important, right? And there's I don't know who it is, but there's guys out there right now fighting for that fifth and sixth position on the running back.
And they're fighting their hardest.
They are. They're doing their best, right? Like you said, they're a chance to get on a team.
Mm-hmm.
So they're doing their best to possibly get on a 53-man roster, or the worst case scenario, be on a practice squad.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to do my best to do that. I'm the fifth string running back for the Detroit Lions.
Right. I think people get too distracted with the 1% of the 1%. Let's not discount the fact that these are all real good players,
Yeah.
right? And that
Right.
if they get an opportunity, I bet you a lot of them can make something happen, regardless of if they're the 99 club or whatever.
Right. So, but maybe by the week 7, week 8, maybe the fifth string running back is now the third string running back, and he's getting a little playing time.
Mm-hmm.
Or he's getting some reps with the first team in practice. So those spots are important. So I like seeing those battles. I like seeing what happens.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. So let's talk about this 99 club again a little bit with Tyreek Hill and Justin Jefferson.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
So I have some stats from last year, and Tyreek
I
Hill.
would like to just quickly acknowledge the fact that we apologize for some technical difficulties that we're getting on the visual side of our YouTube. Audio should be coming through all good, but just apologize if there's any freezing that's going on.
Okay. Yeah. So Tyreek Hill is a 99 club, and he is now the number one player in NFL. I don't know what the ranking source is, I know it's on NFL.com, but it doesn't matter.
Sure.
So he had a total yards last year, 1,814 yards. He did this in 16 games.
Man.
So he's well over 100 yards
Right.
per game. Again, this is total yards. If I remember right, he had 1,799 receiving yards and 15 yards running. So 1,814. So he's still 1,814 because in our league, in the EFFL, we're looking at total yards, not just receiving yards or rushing yards. It's total. So 1,814 in 16 games. He had 13 touchdowns in 16 games.
Wow.
So again, he's averaging just about 1 touchdown per game, over 100 yards per game,
Yeah.
and 119 receptions in those 16 games. So
That's nuts for the record.
if anybody's if anybody is worthy of a 99, it's Tyreek Hill.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm fully on that. Now I'm not trying to discredit what Jefferson is. Now because he was injured for like half a season. He only has 10 games last year, right?
Right. Okay.
But he had 1,062 total yards. So he's actually over 100 yards too. Not by much, but it is over 100 yards.
Yeah, that's like 110 yards. That's pretty close to Tyreek Hill's actually also. So
It's not too far off, right?
right. Yeah.
He had 5 touchdowns in 10 games. So again, now he's every 2 games. And he had 68 receptions. So he's averaging 6.8 in those 10 games.
Okay.
But he's a 98. So if you're looking at the Madden, and again, I don't want to just harp on Madden, but it is the hot button right now. And these players take a lot of pride in what their Madden stats. Again, it may not just be overall, but it's actually going to be speed and tackling and throwing power and accuracy, all those kind of things, right? 'Cause all of those play into the 99 level. But from my eyes here, as good as Jefferson was last year, and I have to say, when Kirk Cousins went down last year from Minnesota,
Mm-hmm.
the quarterbacks that Jefferson had playing for him were Jaron Hall, Jacob Dobbs, whatever his name, just Joshua Dobbs.
Sure. Right. Mm-hmm.
No names, and he still did well. So now he has Sam Darnold or McCarthy coming in there.
Mm-hmm.
I still think it's going to be good, but there's in my eyes, a big drop off between Tyreek Hill at 1,814 yards in 16 games and Jefferson at 1,062 total yards in 10 games.
Right.
For being
right.
one number different, that's a substantial amount. You got Hill averaging almost 1 touchdown per game, and you got Jefferson averaging a half a touchdown per game. So it just kind of shows a little bit of how good Tyreek Hill actually is.
It does go to show that. And I think that he, one, he's well compensated for it now. So congratulations to him.
Yeah.
But two, I think that, I think with his consistency and his ability to make something happen when people are so aware of his skill that's not easy to do,
Right.
So I can understand him getting this position. Totally. Absolutely. Congratulations to him.
Yep.
And being the only person who doesn't have someone else up there from their own team in that 99 club, which I think is a little bit sus. I think it's a little sus to have another person pulled up through their teammates' skills is what, to me, it might feel like. But obviously, Christian McCaffrey, Trent Williams, I'm excited to see an O-lineman up there with 99. You've got to have one somewhere, so that's awesome.
Well, no one on defense. If you look at the 5 people who are there, it's a running back, a quarterback, a tight end, an O-line, and a receiver.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no one on defense at all.
No love for the linebackers.
Nope.
No love for the safeties. And that's actually kind of surprising.
Yep. And no kicker.
Right.
No kickers, 99.
I mean, that should be fine. I don't think that'll make a big difference to anybody's game.
So, anyways, that's interesting. We have there between Hill and Jefferson. So,
yeah, definitely excited about that Madden game.
well, come on over. I got to play. I guess I had a college one to play first. We got to do that first. So.
Right. Yeah. Bring a player over.
So, one of the things that's happened in the past, it's probably been a decade or so. NextGen company whatever it is, had done stats, and they do some pretty cool stats on all sports. So I was trying to find something to chat about today, with a little bit of a filler before we get into the EFFL part of it. And I wanted to tell you, there's five cool events. I want to see. Again, don't look at your notes. You probably already are, but it doesn't matter.
Oh, I was. Yeah, I am. Yeah.
So there's 5 plays that happened last year that I want to kind of discuss. First of all, the fastest ball carrier last year was DK Metcalf.
Okay.
Now he hit 22.23 miles per hour. Fully padded, being chased with a football in his hand, 22 miles per hour.
Wow.
Okay. Now this is showing how timely I am. The Olympic gold medalist, Noah Lyles, just won the Olympic gold in the 100 meter for the United States. He won by 5 1,000ths of a second.
Wow.
Okay, that's 0.005. 5 1,000ths of a second he won. He hit 27.09 miles per hour.
Okay.
Now he has real light shoes. He's in. He got traction on the shoes. He has shorts. He doesn't have a helmet on. Doesn't have any pads on. Not wearing a cup. You know, those kind of things, right?
The cup really slows you down right there.
All those things happen. So he got 27.09. I don't know the stats. But I like to see how fast DK Metcalf would run if he wasn't having all those extra pads and weights on himself, or how fast Noah Lyles runs with pads.
That's really interesting. I think it'd be fun. Obviously, the advantage is in the player's scenario. If you try the whole we'll put pads on this, Olympic athlete who's been training for this exact circumstance in this exact condition while they're working out, and then put them out of their conditions and element. Where a football player who lives their life normal and then just puts on pads when they're performing, they can easily take their pads off and run and try just their hardest.
Yeah.
It would be really interesting to see though. That's crazy.
Yeah.
There is a difference in burst distance traveled, right? 100 meters is a lot farther than a player is going to travel on a single play.
Pretty much. Although you'll see in our next little stat here that's different. But yeah, 100 meters is a long ways to run.
Yeah, 100%.
Because a meter is almost a yard, right?
A little more. Yeah.
Those of us who were back in the 80s when we had to learn metric system, who we never actually used it, but we had to learn it. So we learned basically that a meter is a yard. Yeah, you're right, Paul. It's a little bit longer, but it's close enough to.
Do you know how many inches it is off the top?
No.
If I remember correctly, which I want to have to double check, a yard is 36 inches,
Correct.
and then a meter is 39 inches.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to look.
I'll give you that.
In the meantime.
Okay. So, speaking of that, all right. We know the field is 100 yards. Now, before I gave you the stat, Paul, and you can see it there, on a 94-yard punt return.
I was right.
You were? 39? Good job.
Yep.
I'm proud of you. That's extra education. Good job. On a 94-yard punt return, Gunnar Ozlowski, a wide receiver for New York Giants.
Okay.
He ran 129.6 total yards.
Wow. Did they map him out on the...
Yeah, they have the little thingy. They didn't show it, but there's the little, runs over here and does this and that and all that kind of stuff, right?
Someone had to
So-
do math there, unfortunately, to
Well,
figure that
they
out.
all have the things on now. They have little
Trackers.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. If they could do that, that would be great. That would be the ideal way.
Now, imagine running 129 yards on one play.
Yeah, that's exhausting.
I can't run that in 1 year,
Mm-hmm.
let alone one play, right? 129.6 yards, the longest play that someone ran last year.
Wow. I mean, yeah, that's definitely farther than 100 meters. And when you have to take into account that you are moving through people and having to constantly go around players and stuff, that is exhausting.
I would have died at the end zone there.
Good on you, Gunner. Well done.
Hope he got a touchdown on that. I didn't see that stat. Hope he scored.
I hope so too.
That would be so sad, wouldn't it?
He deserves
Wouldn't
it.
that be sad?
About how hard he had to work during that play.
130 yards running and you don't get a touchdown. I hope the hell he scored.
Right.
I feel really bad for that guy.
Hopefully he did. So what's the next one here?
All right, next one we have the fastest sack.
Okay.
So you're a D-line or a linebacker, and the ball is snapped. Now, if a quarterback has 3 seconds to throw, that's actually decent. 4 is great. Okay, so if you're a lineman, you're trying to get to the quarterback in 3 or 4 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now you have a Trent Williams, 99, blocking you, so you probably won't get around him in 4 seconds, right?
Right.
The fastest sack last year was by a defensive tackle from Tennessee, Jaleel Johnson. Now, if I was to ask you, Paul, before you saw the answer here, how quick? If you know that 3 seconds, 4 seconds is fast, right? How quick do you think the fastest sack would have been from ball being snapped to when the quarterback is tackled?
Yeah, I mean like 2.25, I'm thinking.
Something like that, yeah, right?
Thinking.
This is 1.7 seconds.
Wow.
So start whatever, now. In that little time frame, he's able to notice the ball is being snapped,
Right.
get past his blocker, and tackle somebody in 1.7 seconds.
That's one of those reaction time things, and it feels good when you're on the line. Everybody who is on the line is aware of the count as it's going. So every person is like actively trying to jump the play perfectly, right? Which is why going on second, going on third is irrelevant at all, because everybody is so actively trying to get ahead of their opponent. But man, that reaction time to be able to, within a second, pick up, get in front of your defender, who probably at this point has not even had a chance to process where they need to apply pressure to slow you down. And so then you're just through them, and then a quarterback's not going to stop you. You're a huge defensive lineman. My God. Those guys are monsters.
So Jaleel Johnson from Tennessee, a D tackle, 1.7 seconds last year. So
wow.
I will keep an eye on that. I'm gonna see just how fast these guys are. I've seen some pretty quick ones. Hutchinson, I think Brian Branch was 2.2 seconds for the Lions last year.
Okay.
I think it was third if I remember seeing the stats right. But yeah.
Right.
So,
and that seems to me more like what I was expecting. The fastest would be. So.
Because I imagine if you're a linebacker or even a corner or a safety, you can actually be blitzing and be running full speed at snap. So I could possibly see that making it a little quicker.
Yeah.
But a D tackle, he's a big boy, so he got to get all that weight moving.
Like I said, man, D linemen are monsters. They're another breed.
They are. So. All right, so we discussed how far somebody ran with the ball. Hopefully got a touchdown. How far do you think the average or the longest defender ran? How many yards to make a tackle? Total yards that this gentleman ran last year.
Okay.
Cornerback for Chicago.
You said it was a cornerback. Okay.
Cornerback from Chicago made a tackle, and his total yards that he ran,
I'm going to guess 80.
95.6 yards.
Wow. Did they include the hypotenuse of the across the field angle there? Is that what?
Man, so again, you're running almost 100 yards to make a tackle. Now,
Wow.
a few weeks ago, we had Jamie Morris on the show here, right? And if you remember, Paul, I mentioned when Mikey Samerstill got the last interception for Michigan against Washington, he returned the ball and back down to our 7-yard line. Well, there was a receiver, number 37 for Washington, who ran the 35-yard pattern that the ball was thrown to, was intercepted, and then he chased Mikey Samerstill all the way down and tackled him at the 7-yard line.
Right.
Just by a little quick math, not even counting on going across the field, it was like 80 yards. And Jamie said, that's what you do. If you are on offense, you got a chance to make a tackle, you do. You usually get tackled. So if you can tackle, it's going to be kind of a fun thing. So he busted his butt.
Well, it's very interesting. Like, you have this adrenaline going through you, which I would imagine could only be related to, like, war back in the day. When you see the person who, like, legitimately stole, the ball, which on the field is so important to all those players. When that happens, there is, like, oh, hell no. Ain't no way that you just did this right now and you're going to make it to the other end zone. Ain't no way my coach is going to see me walk off this field after not tackling you.
Right. Right.
Because that's the big thing, is that they don't want to be caught slacking. But not only do they, like, their ego is going to kick in before that whole, like, fear of their coach. Their ego is going to kick in and say, all right, this guy took this ball. That's why you see quarterbacks getting in there every once in a while to make a tackle.
Yeah.
It's not because they want to tackle somebody. They're quarterbacks. It's because they're upset that person caught that ball.
Right. Yep. Exactly. Anyways, that's pretty kind of cool stat. 95.6 yards.
Oh, yeah.
From Jalen Johnson from Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
This last one I want to talk about here is, and if we had the soundbite from Dumb and Dumber when Jim Carrey says, "So you're saying there's a chance?" If we had that soundbite, that would be kind of, do you have that soundbite by any chance? You don't, do you?
I did, but I pulled it off. I pulled it off for this.
Here's tonight's top 10 list.
Okay.
Because we were using top tens more, but I
yeah.
actually had that one. So we'll have to get that next time.
Because the lowest percentage of a completed pass, so the lowest probable complete percentage of a completed pass last year was 3.2%.
How do you
So
figure that out?
Yeah, I don't. Not me. This is all next gen, right? So
Right. Okay.
imagine it's based on separation, location of the ball, speed, sunlight, the moon, whatever the hell it is. I don't know.
Right. Jupiter in retrograde.
Something out there is causing something to go wrong. The metrics is out there. I don't know. No, but they stated that this particular pass of Russell Wilson to Cortland Sutton was a 3.2% completion probability.
Wow.
And it worked. Now, I'm pretty sure that if Russell Wilson knew when he threw it, well, the odds of getting completed are 3.2%, probably wouldn't throw it.
That's not a bet a lot of people take.
For all I know, he could have been scrambling and just chucked the ball in the air and Sutton caught it. I don't know the exact play, but
Yeah.
the percentages were pretty low that it was completed, and yet it was.
I wonder if, just thinking about the metric, I imagine that something like a scramble would really throw that number of the probability range into that a lot closer to the 3%, where it's like, oh yeah, you might be in like the 30 to 40 to 50 to 60 until you leave the pocket, and then all of a sudden it's like really dropping quickly down underneath there. God, I don't know how the math all works out, but but I'm sure it was a scramble situation where the route has already finished, and it might be also like in the red zone or something where like defense is tight. Like, who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, it could have been a really nice lob in the back corner, then it could have been a nice catch. A lot of things could happen, right? So, anyways, it is what it is. So there are 5 kind of cool next-gen stats that I wanted to kind of share with you. The fastest ball carrier, the longest play, the fastest sack, the longest tackle, and the improbable completion percentage.
Nice. We got to save this and compare it to next year's 2024 next-gen stats to see what changes or who gets beat by what.
Yeah. I sure hope that I will look this up. That Gunnar Olszewski, I hope the hell he got a touchdown for that play.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll look it up. We'll look it up. We'll have to find
Gunnar,
out.
I'm gunning for you. Gunnar, I'll tell you what. If I have opportunity this year, I'm going to pick you on my EFFL. One of my teams, I'll pick you to play.
There you go.
I'm just impressed by 129 yards running.
I mean, yeah, if you get him on that play, that's a lot of points.
Isn't that?
That's like a whole game's worth of points right there in one play.
Yeah, and this is the fun part about the EFFL. Whether you go to the leagues or you go to the exchange, is you can pick people like a Gunnar Olszewski, who I'm pretty sure his percentages of being chosen in a traditional draft are like none.
Right.
But here he is. He'll be on my team one time, so I'll pick him up. So, all right, hey Paul, I'm gonna ask you to play some of the EFFL.
Oh yeah, we are.
Tune again. As we kind of migrate from the NFL and the Madden on back over to the EFFL. And again, like I mentioned, we are live, so feel free to check us out. We will have a series of YouTube events, videos to show how to do this and how to do that and how to do this and how to do that. So we'll have all those
More
generated.
specifically, how to like understand the scoring. I know he was really great at just like briefly glancing over it there, but more specifically, how to like go over some scoring for Extreme Exchange, scoring for EFFL, and then little things like how to register your team and etc. on using the website for anybody who might be curious on how to do that.
Yep. So all of that will be done hopefully even today.
Yeah, and that's all going to be on our YouTube. So over there,
above my head, right there.
Nice. There you go.
There we go.
There you go. All of the people who are listening in the podcast, I apologize.
Yes, this is now a visual thing. All right. So we mentioned last week, I introduced the phrase, the EFFL two-timers to the podcast here.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is players or teams that get to be used twice in a season because, like we already know, you get to pick anybody you want, but use them only once during the first or the second half, which are 9 weeks long.
Mm-hmm.
So here I have 3 offensive and 3 defensive teams. Again, in the EFFL, we choose an offensive team, which is, I think, kind of different, not strange, just different than you're going to find traditional.
Right.
So we get to pick them. So I'm going to give you 3 names here. Right? We have the Atlanta Falcons. Now, they are, I believe, listed as like the 12th or maybe the 11th best offense in the league.
Sure.
So we know you got to use 9 teams, right?
It's a good one to go for, or at least like it's worth checking into.
Yeah. So Kirk Cousins is there now. They have Bijan Robinson, running back. They have Drake London, receiver. They have Kyle Pitts, tight end / receiver. Do you think that the Atlanta's offense will be used twice by a majority of the EFFL teams?
Not by majority, no. I think that unless their team starts to really click and start to perform better in their in their respective conference and stuff, then I don't see that being a huge pick.
I agree. I think as a whole, I don't think the Falcons will be used twice. Although they are playing in a pretty weak division with Carolina, Tampa Bay, and New Orleans. So they may be able to. It may be a matchup.
Right.
So I don't think I'm going to see them being used twice by a majority of the teams. I can definitely see people using them twice, though. I just don't think it's going to be a majority of the teams using them.
Right, and that's what I think too.
Yeah, I agree. New York Jets. We won't harp on the Aaron Rodgers thing again because we use him almost every week.
Yeah.
But he's back. So they have a pretty good team.
I know they're generating a little bit of a hype around them too.
Would you think they're going to use them twice? I actually do feel that the Jets will be used twice. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to come back, going to have a decent year. You got Breece Hall, which is a top-notch running back. You got Gary Wilson. You got a really good team. I do feel that the Jets will be used as a two-timer for a majority of the teams.
Yeah. Yeah, it does seem like a good bet to go with.
Yeah.
I could go with that too. I would agree.
Okay. Awesome. The last team I have for offense, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Again, they're bordering on 10, 11 overall ranking. Good quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. Good running back on Travis Etienne. Christian Kirk, receiver, Evan Ingram, tight end. So they have a pretty good offense there. They're down in good weather most of the time, so it's not really a concern down there. So I think Jacksonville, I don't see them being used a two-timer most of the time by most of the teams. I do see them being used a few times, kind of like Atlanta.
Yeah.
I think once in a while, but not overall.
Yeah, I don't know. I can see it. I just don't necessarily think any of those players really stand out to me to be like the great ones. Like I don't know if I'd pick most of those players twice. And so I don't necessarily think that I'm gonna lean on the team picking that team twice, right?
That's a good point. Yeah.
So yeah, that's the not that I don't think that they could do it. Not that I don't think they've got a lot more grit than them, that they could be on an upswing for sure within their previous performances, but I'm just not sure if it's going to be enough.
That's a good point. Yeah. I probably won't use any of those players. Maybe Evan Ingram, possibly, twice, but we'll see.
Sure, right.
All right, going to defense. All right, Paul. Detroit Lions.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that's
Now,
one.
just because you're a homer like me, but do you think I do think they're going to be a lot better this year than last year. So I think it's going to be a thing that's worthwhile using them twice.
Yeah, I mean, after their draft too, like people are excited to see this defense in action this year, and I think that it's going to be a good pick twice. I think people are going to pick it once for sure, and then as long as they do pretty good throughout the rest of the season, then there will be another time. I think for sure.
The important thing to understand in either of the teams, either offense or defense, if the team wins, you get 10 points.
Right.
Five. Good God, 5 points. So you get points if the team wins. So even if it's a team that maybe not had the best offense or defense, but if they win, you're going to get some pretty good scoring just from that alone. So that's a neat little thing. The Las Vegas Raiders.
Oh,
Max Crosby is from Eastern, right? He's like they named the field at EMU now. That great field is the Max Crosby Field.
Nice. No way.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you can walk there from your house.
I was about to say, right.
You can walk one of your cats outside and you can go check out Max Crosby Field.
They would freak out. They would hate that.
I don't know if overall, they freak out. I don't know overall if the Raiders are going to be good enough to win enough games, make a big enough difference in there or not. But so I don't think so in my eyes.
Yeah, not a majority of teams, I don't think, is where I would draw the line there. I think that some people might see it. I've heard some hype being generated around the Raiders, especially on their defensive side, but I just don't know if it'll be – I don't know if it'll be enough. We'll have to see. Like I said, I think that it'll come down to, one, you have to see the faith in them ahead of time. And I'm not sure if I look at them as play them in the first half of the season at this current point. Like, so maybe that they might surprise me week 2, week 3, week 4, and I'll be like, all right, this is actually a good pick to go into. I'm considering it now for the rest of the first half, right? But then after that, if I didn't get it in the first half, there's no way. But if you did get it in the first half, then it comes down to how did they do there? Did they net you good rewards to consider doing it again? I don't think that the majority of people will make that decision at this point in time.
I kind of agree.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that. So if I could pick Max Crosby individuals, we don't do IDPs here, but if we did, I'd pick Max Crosby twice. But
yeah, oh, definitely.
It's nothing. And the last one, again, back to that Jacksonville team. Jacksonville Jaguars defense. They're ranked in the top, 11 or 12? Mm-hmm. So they're right there in that borderline area. What do you think?
Oh, man, I hate to do them like that. I mean, it's good on them for being so close. Like I said, they're in an upswing, and I think that they could do some stuff. But I don't know. I don't know enough about their defensive to feel super confident on it. So yeah, from there I would just have to say like unless I was impressed, then no.
Yeah, they have. They're playing games against Tennessee. Well, again, they're in their division. Tennessee, Houston, and Indianapolis. So Houston is going to be a really good, strong offensive team. Mm-hmm. Indy has all the makings of being a really good team. Tennessee, depending on how D. Hopkins comes back, he got hurt early on in the preseason, but they may not be that strong. So they have a decent matchups once in a while, but I just don't know if I'm going to pick them twice to be a team.
Yeah,
I can definitely find 9 other teams to pick.
Right, that I'd feel a little bit more confident on.
Yeah. So, well, anyways, those are some of the EFFL questionable 2-timers that I have.
Nice.
So,
to be fair, now that we're past the point, let me just double back over to the Jacksonville Jaguars and say I do have faith in them when I want to see them do well, but I just at this point can't say with confidence that the majority of teams would be going for it yet, right?
Right. So, I agree. So, we are, like I said, we're at the point now where you can actually go to the extremeffl.com and you can create a league, you can join a league, and because of that, we have sponsored leagues. So, we have private, we have sponsored, we have a lot of things. But regarding a sponsored league, we need sponsors. So, for $250, you could be a sponsor of a league and have your name being named on the league, like we currently do with 123 Go. And also Taboo Entertainment. So we have 2 of those leagues already created. So you can come on into the site, register, go down to either the 123 Go or the Tabby Entertainment site. Click on it, join those teams. Only costs $25. But as a sponsor, you get 20 weeks, so 18 regular season weeks and 2 playoff weeks of people coming to your site, and you get your social media. Our social media, you get your website, your URL, all those kind of cool things. You get a shout out from us here regularly on our future podcasts and stuff. So it's $12.50 a week. I think it's a no-brainer. So if you have a company out there and you want to get a sponsor league, let us know. Find out one of those buttons above my head and find us where we're at and let us come see us.
And one of the good things that sponsored leagues are for is for if you think that like there might be some friends around your area that would be interested in your league, or if you think that your business might have like some sort of incentive to be able to like represent within a league, then this is a great way to be like, hey, you know what? This is a cheap way to get into the game. Yeah. All you guys have to do is pay $25, and if you use the code, then it's just $20 on entry for your team, and you can put that in there, and you could join your team with your community that you can start building. And so I think that this is it's like Todd said, it's a cheap opportunity, and I think that it's a really good way to kind of get on the ground floor of something as it's starting up.
Yeah, look forward to that. So again, we need some sponsors, and the sponsors leagues can have maximum of 32 teams. So we hopefully have a lot more opportunities. So if you want to be a sponsor, let us know.
Yeah.
Also, when you register, when you get to the promo code, put in podcast 2024, and you receive a 20% discount on any one team entry fee, not counting the Elite League, but 20% discount. Yeah. So podcast 2024.
That can get you $20 off of your Platinum League if you're doing that.
Yeah, exactly. So they're better than a stick in the eye, right?
Absolutely.
A stick in the eye, poke in the eye, or get hit in the eye.
Sure,
black
right.
eye.
I've heard that.
Whatever it is. Red eye, blue eye. I don't know what it is. All right. Well, that music is telling me that it's getting close to time to go. And speaking of go, 123go.io is our sponsor, has been for the past 20 weeks. This is week 21, and awesome, as well as tabbyentertainment.com.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, Paul, explain to us again about these questions and answers you want us to do, because we have the ability now to answer questions.
Yeah, very shortly, we're going to be reaching out. Shortly being, I think, this next upcoming Friday, which, looking at my calendar, will be... my calendar is telling me that my battery is low, so we are going to have to get to that later. But it looks like it's just going to be by the 10th, I think, off of a quick little date in my head. And we'll be talking about, or on social media, we'll be reaching out, and anybody can be reaching out with us with any questions they might have. So if you guys want to know how to sign up into leagues, how many people you can have into the leagues, anything about the process, if you want to know about player stats even or something like that, feel free to ask us questions, and we'll be able to kind of give you a little bit of a leak on that during these podcast episodes. And we'll try to do that right after the intro so we can get your questions out of the way when everybody is really tuning in to hear it. So absolutely, check out our social medias. It should be on, what I'm thinking off the top of my head, which we don't know, might be on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, so on and so forth.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Check it out.
So thank you, Paul. Next week, we will be at the Expo Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this week coming up. So we will talk about what happened at the Expo. We'll talk about in the past, the future. It's interesting. So next week, we'll discuss what happened in the past weekend at the Fantasy Football Expo, where we are located at Booth 5. We are the VIP in Booth 5. So that's
absolutely
looking forward to that.
All right, here, I'll pop this back up again here.
It's okay. We're out of here. So anyways, like I always say, when life gives you a chance, make it happen. Peace.